critical thinking skills, but we don't have critical thinking skills no more. We have Google thinking skills. Another deconstructive measure that makes it seem like there's the convenience of a device telling us fragments of information when the whole cosmos works in holarchic templates and works in totality to show us the whole pie, not just the part, and make us the whole. Does that make sense what I'm saying, brother?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love how you speak about the consciousness of time. This artificial construct, it exists because of our consciousness and acceptance of it, right? We accept it, thus this is an illusion. Like you said, anything that changes is an illusion. Anything that has a beginning, it has an end, right? So it's an illusion. And one of the things when you were speaking about how this artificial time construct, it induces stress.
Yes.
On us. You feel what I'm saying? Like one of the main things on how they develop this is through school and work. If we can go back, we remember maybe preschool or kindergarten, they would tell you when you could eat. Not only could they tell you eat, but they would tell you there's nap time. So now they dictating to you when you're hungry and when you're tired. And this continues on into grade school where they introduce the bell. So now, okay, now you got to jump into something else. So it's a shock aspect. Then you put it on yourself. Then they give you an alarm clock. Why should you be alarmed? Ringing the alarm. Alarm means something is going on. Something ain't right. But you hit the alarm.
It's an emergency.
For emergency, because you got to get up in the morning, right? I was, when my wife and I went to see a comedian, Tony Baker, he talked about the alarm clock. Like you got to get up 4 o'clock just to go to work at 7. You see what I'm saying? Because the alarm clock, like you don't want to get up, but you program yourself for it. So basically, it induces stress. One of the things for me when I came up was before I got into the job market, I was really big on being an entrepreneur. I was a vendor and things of that nature. And one thing I loved was control of my time. So much so that the what we call time was more valuable to me than the money, because I wasn't willing to take the money for the stress. You get what I'm saying? Like there's people who work themselves to death. There's people who work themselves. They always strive. I got 40 hours. I got overtime. I got this and that. And it locks you in mentally in a way where you are out of tune with nature. But when you look at nature, right? If I go back and look at my backyard and I see birds don't operate on a clock. Birds operate within nature. They get what they need when they need it, and they move in harmony with the seasons, as opposed to a clock. So getting back in tune with our natural selves, getting back in tune, with the cycles, like you talk about the menstrual cycles, all these different things is what's truly going to get us where we need to be, as opposed to this induced stress, which really shortens our lifespan and gives us a lack of quality of life. So I would just say that. Turn, brother.
Boy, you saying a lot. Boy, you on fire today, my brother. You on fire today. This is Brother Nev Taharka and Shem El. Man, we are really hitting on something with the deconstruction of the human mind through artificial time. And so it has been said that what controls your time controls your mind. And if we're controlled by artificial paradigms that lead to illusions, how are we going to access our true self? How are we going to be able to be true to ourselves, true to our families, true to our community, so that we can be able to carry out our galactic purpose on this planet? And so when we start thinking from that ideology, we're now able to catch the clues of where we're trying to be interrupted by artificial programs. And let me tell you where it shows up. It shows up as, needing to, in our day-to-day life, right? That artificiality makes us think that we're going to work for 40 years, retire with a gold watch and a turkey, and then we're supposed to now live our best years after that. It comes in the form of being able to just work hard enough to keep the job and only get paid enough so we won't get fired. See, it's quite an interesting relationship behind how this works. The wage earner is taxed more than any other income earner in the system of the American system of economics. So what do? Well, we're going to get some solutions, because how do we now monetize our gifts? How do we tap into our natural powers and ability? Well, one thing we got to do is we do have to learn about the natural cycles so that we can tap into the cosmic memory circuits. The cosmic memory circuits are said to be stored in the cerebellum, which is said to have over 100 million years of knowledge. Now, how many million years do you think we're operating with on a day-to-day basis? I don't think we're operating with any millions, or probably any thousands, because every time we look into this computer, every time we look into this smartphone, the phone tells us that it's a smartphone, but the smartphone is having us use less of our neurological activity, and the less neurons that we use, the less intelligent that we become. So this is deconstruction at its best. So we follow these cycles, and watch this. The cosmic cycles give us back to our cosmic memory circuits. Now the mind has expanded beyond the brain, beyond the auric field, into all the different dimensions, all the different thinking layers of the cosmos. And now we truly can receive knowledge from the source of all creation in the form of downloads and instructions. When we ask the power of God for an answer, or we ask to say, you ask and you shall be given, what will we be given? I would say oftentimes we're given instructions. And the question is not, we'll receive instructions. If we ask, we will be given instructions. The question is, can we carry those instructions out? Or are we willing to? And many of us got so much artificiality and doubt going on in our mind. We don't believe in our heart. We don't know in our heart that we've already won this race. So we have to connect to the natural cycles. We have to connect to the cosmic memory circuits so that we can unwind the clock. The clock has wound us up so that we can't end it. When somebody get wound up, they get angry, right? They get anxious. They're ready to throw blows. And so how are we supposed to live our lives every day in fight or flight, in survival mode? How are we supposed to do that and really create a thriving family and really a thriving being in itself? So these type of conversations really start to speak to not just the law of time and, Morse science and the 13 moon calendar, the hollow mind perceiver, some of these terms that we use as something that's interesting. No, right about now it's necessary if you want to move out of artificiality and into the full totality of our consciousness and our being. And now here's what I'm going to say in closing, brother. If we are tapping into the totality of our consciousness and we have infinite probabilities and possibilities in terms of what we can think and create, what will stop us now when we're aware of the artificial programs that deconstruct those processes so we don't even know we have those faculties? Does that make sense what I'm saying, brother?
Absolutely. It absolutely total sense. And I couldn't have said it better. We have to have that mind shift where we can see past the illusion, because these artificial constructs are making us look in terms of things of lack as opposed to abundance. And I love how you put that when you was speaking to what you were speaking to, because when you get into nature, you see the abundance. When you get into natural time, you see the abundance. When you get into that artificial time, everything is lack. You got a deadline, a line of dead. You catch what I'm saying? All these things deal with lack and limitations. But when we get into our natural cycles, there is no limitation. The cycle of the circle is a symbol of infinity. So we have to be infinite beings. We are infinite beings. We just have to have our consciousness within it. And that's all I want to just say, brother. I enjoy this time just building with you all the time.
Hey, brother, the feeling is mutual. So before we go, I want Brother Shem, I want you to give your information again so people can purchase your books. Brother, you sharp as a Ginsu knife and beyond. And just to have this conversation, what they say, steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron, whatever it is, it sharpens it. And so I feel fortunate and I'm grateful that you would take time out your busy schedule, not just to enlighten me, because that's what I feel right now from listening to what you're saying, but so that we can come together and have an enlightening conversation where other people can be enlightened as well. So one of the things, those of you that are listening or that hear this, you know, I recommend that you get your kin number. Why? Because it's going to introduce you to a new way of consciousness where you can see these illusions, and these illusions don't have to overtake you through the emotional body. That's the entry point. That's where the manipulation is, so that we all wound up and out of sync. So we're out of sync. So now synchronicity can't work on your behalf. When you're out of sync, synchronicity can't work on your behalf. When you're out of sync, synchronicity works with things that are already in sync. And if you're out of sync, you just don't even realize that you're not able to experience the whole power of nature working on your behalf. And so that can create depression, that can create a disposition of non-belief, and those type of attitudes and disposition attract a reality that brings hopelessness and despair. And we need treatment at that point. We need therapy at that point, because we're going to surmount some blockages that won't even allow us to access the abundance that our free will automatically has, just as the trees, it's just as the grass does, just as all the animals do as well. So those of you that are interested, make sure you inbox me. And in fact, tomorrow we're going to be doing an overview of melanated immortals and how these evolutionary tools can help us evolve beyond these artificial programs. We're also going to be doing a new kin orientation to orient you with this consciousness so that you can make it practical and integrate it into your life. But if you look at it from the outside, it looks very coded, it looks very different, and some people shy away from it. But we explain this in a way so that you can get up that learning curve. And now it truly is worth it to be able to see the truth. And they say the truth will set you free. And what will it set you free of? The illusions that imprison our mind through this mental incarceration process of being reduced from a God, objectifying spirit, and being able to take on money over abundance. So Brother Shem, give your information. Those of you who were listening, I truly thank you for chiming in. I think we got to do it one more time at least, Brother Shem, because you get me so excited the way you deliver your message. All it does is inspire me to go forward. So go ahead and close us out, Brother Shem, with your information and any final remarks.
Absolutely, brother. It's a pleasure always. We definitely got to do it again. For those who are interested, check me out on my website, shemel.com. That's SHEM-EL.com. You can check me out on my YouTube, Shemel. Also on my podcast, Masterminds with Brother Shemel, which is on Spotify and other platforms. Check me out, of course, on IG. And I'll be with you next week. Nelta Hawker doing it again. Peace and love.
All right. Well, thank you once again, Brother Shem. Man, it's truly my honor and pleasure. I did not know, brother, what I've been missing. I didn't know you were laying it down like this. So you done really started something. You an instigator, man, because you done instigated something that's going to really evoke or bring out greater power, greater abilities in us by the power of your speech, brother. And so I'm just in awe, just listening to you and how you articulate things And I look forward to all the promise and all the dialogues that we have going forward that's going to impact us and other people as well. So once again, thank you so much. Also, you can go to melanatedimmortals.com. I'll put that in the chat if you want to check out the School of Evolution and some of the things that we have going on. And I tell you, the sky truly has no limits. And when we unwind that clock, we can access that power and do anything that we want. So with that being said, once again, thank you for joining in. We truly appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next session. Peace, family.
Peace.
All right, Brother Shem.